Hello lovely yoga friends, and welcome to this week's video. So we're working with a 12-week course on the spirits of nature, and this week we are working with the spirit of the animals. So we're just going to do a very quick warm-up, and then we're going to work through 6 different animal postures. I mean, there's so many to pick from. So I particularly picked some animal poses this time that really open the heart. I feel like this is what we as humans really need to be doing right at the moment, is really opening our heart to ourselves and to other people. So tuning into animal spirits can really help us as well to tune into our own primitive nature, as we were when we were originally walking on the land here. So it can help us really connect in with the land, connect into nature. So that's what we're going to do today. So it might be useful for you today to have a block like this and possibly a belt. If you don't have an actual yoga belt, you can just use a dressing gown cord or something similar. So other than that, all you need is yourself and the mat. So get your things together and join me in a moment. So we're going to begin just seated like this. We're just going to take a moment to tune in, closing the eyes or lowering the gaze, bringing the attention into the breath gently, breathing in and out. Just landing, arriving in the space. Beautiful. So we're just going to do a couple of twists. So just raising the arms up above the head and then opposite hand to knee, breathing in at the side here and then exhaling into the twist. We're going to come back all the way round to the other side and going the other way. Breathing in, looking to the side and exhaling into the twist. Beautiful. So then we're going to come back through the centre. We're going to take our hands behind, just put the hands on the ground behind, and we're going to push the chest forward. So like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of opening the chest today. So taking a nice look up, keeping the chest forward as you're breathing gently in and out through the nose. Beautiful. So then we're going to do a little bit of warming up for the arms and the armpit. So we're going to bring one arm up. It doesn't really matter which you do. Take that hand behind onto the nape of the neck, behind the head. Bring the other arm up and grab hold of that elbow and see if you can just pull that hand back a little bit, and you'll notice how this really makes you sit up. It's opening the chest both back and front. Beautiful. And then only if you want to, keeping that hand at the back, you can bring the other arm and see if you can bring it up behind. I mean, I can't reach my fingers, but I'm just kind of got them going as close as they'll go to. And then we'll just do it on the other side. So raising the other arm up, taking this one behind the head, so you're touching the nape of the neck, and then bring the other hand up and grab hold of that elbow and see if you can just take that hand a little bit lower down behind the back. It's really opening for the whole of the top of the body actually. And then we'll take the other arm up behind. I can't get anywhere near this side, so just working within your own body's limits. Beautiful. And then we're just going to give ourselves a great big hug. So we're going to open the arms as wide as you can and then cross them in front of the body. See if you can grab opposite shoulders behind, and then opening the arms and going the other way. Beautiful. Giving yourself a little bit of a hug. Lovely. Okay, so now we're going to stay in the sitting position, but we're going to bring the legs open just as far as you can get them. So I'm still sitting up on my little block here, but this is just a way of just beginning to open the body a little bit here. We can bring hands onto the floor or onto the legs, wherever you can get to comfortably there. Just breathing there, and then we'll just see if we can just walk the hands forward a little bit and then just drop the weight of the head over. And that is just a really beautiful way of opening the back of the body a little bit here, which we will be doing at the end of the practice. But most of the practice we're going to be opening the front of the body. Beautiful. So I'm going to invite you to come now down and lie on your back. So you can take any blocks away. So we're coming into semi-supine for a moment, with the hands down by the sides, and then I'm going to invite you to bring the arms up and take them out to the sides along the ground, and we're just going to drop the knees over to one side, rolling on the bottom of the feet, and then turn the head to look in the opposite direction, and see how this just opens the top of this top leg and the hips here. And then inhaling, bringing the knees back up to the front and taking them over the other way, looking over the opposite arm. Beautiful. At any point, of course, if you want to stay longer in these poses, you can always pause the video. So we're going to bring one leg up. It doesn't really matter which you do. Cross that leg right over as if you're sitting in a chair. And then we're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to kind of continue that movement over. And this just makes it much stronger. It's also an adduction. So this is where I'm taking the leg across the body here. And I can take my hand onto the top of that leg. So this really begins to open the back of the hip here. Again, looking over the other side. And then just coming up to the top, swapping over sides and going into the other direction, taking that hand onto that top knee if you want to. Wonderful. So then we're just going to do one more thing here. So we're going to cross that first leg over again, and then now we're going to lift the bottom, lift the legs up, and see if you can grab hold of the legs going here. So I'm lifting my head up just to get hold of my legs, and then I'm going to drop down. So that's about as much as I can do. Some people who are much more supple than me can grab hold of their feet and bring them up here. I can't do that. So just working with what you can do, and feel how this really opens the backs of the hips here. And then we can just swap over to the other side, lifting the legs up, grabbing hold of the legs on the outside. So I've got this ankle, but the other one I can't reach that far. Dropping the head down again and just spending a couple of moments here. This is just warming up here because we're going to be doing a bit like this, but a bit more later on. So we're then going to come up to, in fact, we're going to come round and we're going to come into all fours. Now, I always like to pad my knees because I've got a little bit of a dodgy knee. You're spreading the fingers wide, hands just in front of the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and we're just going to do a little bit of cat and cow. So looking forward, taking the spine to the floor, looking between the knees and taking the spine to the ceiling. So like I say, you can always pause the video and take longer in each of these poses that we do if you want to. So we can just very briefly come through the toe squat. So this is just sitting up on the toes, which is very, very good for us. And then we're just going to come back to all fours and then just take one foot out behind, tucking the toes and just push back, opening the hamstring. So pushing back into the heel, opening that hamstring a little bit, and then just doing it on the other side. Wonderful. This is just a very quick warming up because we're then going to go into these 6 different postures. Right, so the first posture that we're going to work with is actually a very simple posture, and it's really good for self-confidence. So it's something that's very good for if you're somebody who's a bit self-conscious. It's really good. It's called the lion pose, which is in Sanskrit is the Simhasana. Now, what we do is we sit with the big toes together and the knees apart. If this is quite hard on the knees, you can take a block like this and put it so it's resting on the bottoms of your feet, and then sit on top of it. It's actually really comfortable. If this really doesn't work for you, you can always sit on a chair to do this. So, lion pose is what you would think it would be. It's a big roar, so we're going to make a roaring sound out of our mouth. But at the same time that we're doing that, we're going to also stick out the tongue, so it's going to look like this. So I'm opening the mouth, sticking out the tongue, wide eyes, and at the same time as doing that, I'm going to, as I come forward doing that, I'm going to take my hands, slide them down the tops of the legs, and I'm going to end up with my claws sticking out down here, but at the same time I'm leaning forward, so it's going to look like this. But at the same time I'm doing that, I'm going to make this big sound coming right from the back of the throat. So let's do it together 3 times, breathing in to begin. So come back gently just into a comfortable sitting position here. Close the eyes or lower the gaze and just take a moment to just be with the effects of your practice. So it's amazing to do this. It's really detoxifying. It's opening the whole face, opening the throat, all of that. So if you want to do more, pause the video, do more. So the next pose that we're going to come into now is called cow-faced pose or Gomukhasana. And what we're going to do is we're going to come, and I'm going to advise you to sit on a block or a book or something that's quite chunky like that. I'm putting that on to the mat here. I'm going to sit on it with my feet coming out in front of me, but then I'm going to lift one knee up. Now this is a modification for it, so if you've got anything going on with hips or hip replacements or anything, just stay here, yeah, and this can be fine. Or if you want to do the adduction, which is taking the foot, the leg across the body, if your hips are okay, then you can do this. And that might be enough for you, and then we just go into the arms. But if you want to do have some more than this, then you can bring the other foot, like so it's coming behind you here. I'm still sitting on the block here. I've got this other foot, this leg coming right down with the foot coming out here. So I've got this one up here, and this is fine as well to do it from here. But if you can go further and you want to, what you're doing is you're going to try and bring this foot beside you the other way. Apparently it's meant to look like a cow because you've got the nose here and these are the ears sticking out, I think. Or maybe that's the forehead, this is the ears, and I'm the nose here. But anyway, so that's the legs, okay? And if you're happy with that, then we'll try and do the arms. So the arms are a little bit similar to what we were doing at the beginning of the class, which is I've got my right leg on the top, so I'm going to take my left arm up, take that behind like I was a minute ago, grab hold of that elbow, so that I'm really opening up that arm, and then taking the other hand behind, seeing if I can grab that hand. Now I can't do that at all, I can't grab my hand, so I'm going to grab my belt at this point and take it behind me here, and then when I take the other arm round I can grab hold of the belt here, so that kind of helps me to come into the pose without straining myself, you know. I'm doing what I can here. Breathing here, sitting up really tall. Here we go, cow face pose. So in the Hindu tradition, of course, cows are sacred, very sacred. They never slaughter them, they just die naturally, so they don't eat cows. And of course they're seen as honest and humble. They give so much of themselves, they work on the land, you know, and so they're really revered. And I think it's really a good thing for us to do that with cows, seeing as we seem to exploit them a lot in this country. So let's come to the other side. So you can just start again here like this, and we're going to bend the other leg this time, and only take that one over to the side if we feel like we want to. You can bend this leg around if that works for you, and then, I mean, this is fine. This is, I mean, for me, this is, I can feel that, but if you want to bring the other foot through, and then we're just going to do it the other way. So we bring the other arm up. I'm going to take my belt as well, because I know I can't reach around the back. So the other arm going behind, this arm coming, reaching onto the belt, or if you can reach your fingers together, that's fine. And again, sitting up nice and straight with honest humbleness, the sacred cow. Beautiful. Okay, so from that pose, we're going to come down into the crocodile for a moment. So we're just going to come down onto our fronts, one hand on top of each other, the other, feet out to the sides, head onto the hands, and just rock the pelvis gently from side to side. Beautiful. So from here we're going to do a cobra, a snake pose. So we're going to bring the feet together, tops of the feet down, and we're going to actually start this today in a slightly different way to how I normally do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the hands out to the sides, like just slightly above where the head is. Take the forehead down to the ground, tops of the feet down, elbows are kind of up. And then as we breathe in, we're going to rise up. So you can kind of help yourself a little bit with the fingers, rising up, feeling the strength of this pose, and exhaling down. So we could just do it with the breath. So inhale, rising up, exhaling down. Beautiful. Inhaling up. This time we can try and hold it for a breath or two. Really feel how this is opening the chest. You can probably feel it in the low back. It's engaging the muscles, all the muscles of the back, then coming back down. So now we're going to bring the hands in underneath the shoulders here. And this time we're going to come up from here, inhaling up. When we get up to where we can go to, we can take a bit of weight into the hands then, and then see if we can come up to a high cobra. So only coming to where you can, making sure that elbows are moving in. Don't hurt the low back. If it's hurting, back off please. Relaxing, trying to relax your pubic bone down into the earth here. Feel how this is really opening for the shoulders. Try and relax the shoulders. Only stay there if it's okay. And then dropping down. Beautiful. And we'll come back into the crocodile, gently just rocking from side to side. So from here, we're going to bring the feet back, elbows under the shoulders. We're going to just gently come back up to all fours, but only for a moment. We're going to take the hands out in front of us, tucking the toes, and we're going to come up into the dog, downward dog. Now, I found out something interesting about this pose the other day, which is that this pose originally came from a very ancient pose, and I can't remember the name of it in Sanskrit, but it's the elephant. And actually that makes perfect sense that it should be the elephant. So we're keeping the knees really bent, dropping the head. We can almost imagine that the head might be, you know, part of our trunk or something, and just letting the top of the body flop forward. Now, if this just feels too much on the wrists, you can always come down onto the forearms, into the elbows, but that is quite hard on the legs. So just see what you want to do. You can always come down and have a rest at any time. So keeping the legs bent, trying to see if we can stay here for a little while. So the elephant, of course, is about strength. It's about moving through with stability and sustainability through obstacles. It's about loyalty, because elephants are very loyal. So we can just see if we can be here. Again, just come and rest down if you need to. I'm just going to drop down for a moment onto my heels. I'm going to give my palms of my hands a little bit of a massage, give them a rest, and then I'm just going to come back up again. So just spending a few moments here. You could even begin gently to see if you can drop the heels down, again keeping the knees slightly bent. Beautiful. So we're not going to stay here too long. We're going to gently walk the hands to the feet to the hands. We did this last week, and again, I should have said, I didn't say it last week, I forgot, so I'm going to say it now. If inversions don't work for you because of blood pressure issues, you can always just have, so from here, when you're in the dog, you could always have the head, try and keep the head above the heart. Same with this, you can come into a flat back. But if you're okay to drop the head down between the knees, beautiful. So then we're going to just gently rise up, allowing the head to come last. I'm going to turn around to face you. Okay, and we're just going to take a moment to drop. We're in Tadasana now, but just dropping, allowing everything to just feel the weight of everything dropping into the earth, making sure your feet are nice and equally facing forward. We're going to do a little practice of nothing that's got anything to do with an animal, but it's really good as a preparation for the pose we're going to do. We're going to go into the chair. So we're going to take the weight back into the heels, bending the legs, bring the arms forward like this, and then we're going to take the arms up, look between the hands, or as far between the hands as you can. This is so good for anybody, for everybody's posture. Lovely. We're going to do that again, but we're going to see if we can practice a little balance with this. So dropping back into the heels, taking the weight back into the heels. This time we're going to bring the arms out to the sides, and we're going to take the weight over onto one leg and just come up onto the toes of the other foot. We're going to drop down onto that foot and lift the toes of the other foot. Now, if balancing is a real problem for you, you can have a chair next to you, or you can be next to a wall. But what we're going to do now is we're going to lift the first foot and see if we can take that leg across. You can always put the point of the toe on the foot on the ground on the other side and just stay there. That can keep you stable. And then while we've got a solid base like this, we're going to, remember we gave ourselves a hug at the beginning of the lesson. We're going to do that again. So I've got the top leg, the right leg on the top, so I'm going to take the left arm on the top, coming into a hug. So from here we're going to see if we can come into eagle arms here. So you can either just have the backs of the hands together, or you can see if you can bring the fingers around the palm. And then only if you can do it and you want to, you can lift that foot up, lifting the arms up a little bit. Beautiful. Trying to balance there, and then coming gently back. So we're going to do it on the other side. So taking the weight into the heels, lifting this second leg up and taking it over, getting yourself stable then there, and you know, you might have a chair, and then so we're going to take the opposite hand arm on the top, and then if you want to come into eagle arms, that's wonderful, raising the arms up a little bit, and then only if you want to, seeing, she says, seeing if you want to lift that foot up. Some people can put that foot behind the other leg. I can't do that. I can't even seem to balance at the moment. But anyway, woo, raising up, thinking about, oh, she says, thinking about trying to keep the head facing towards the top of the room, raising the arms up a little bit. Oh, it's very difficult, very difficult. Well done everybody for having a go. So our last pose that we're going to do today is tortoise pose, and I'm going to just put this block, soft block, down for me to sit on. So we did a little modified version of it earlier, so we can do that again. So taking the feet out to the sides, the legs out to the side, so we're in a wide-legged sitting position. So I've got my block at the back of my bottom here, so that my sit bones are actually on the ground, but I'm sitting up really nice and straight here. Got my legs out to the side. So tortoise, you know, in the full tortoise pose, people are meant to take their whole torso and basically put it on the ground. Well, I can't do that. So I just do what I can. I'm going to coming forward to where I can. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to slide the arms and the hands underneath the legs. So just go to where you can. It might be that you need to bend the legs to get the arms under. I can even just about reach the sides of my feet here. And then from here, see if you can straighten the legs out again, trying to keep the arms out to the side. And then from here, I'm just dropping the weight of the head over. I'm just going to where I can and seeing if I can relax everything down. So relaxing the head, the weight of the head, relaxing the legs. If you're super bendy and you've got your torso on the floor in front of you, well done. If you're not and you're like me, well done as well. So here we are in the tortoise pose. So tortoise is about, it's about looking within. It's about longevity. Slowing down the pace of life. Not feeling like you've got to get anywhere past. Introspection. It's about deep and ancient knowledge and wisdom. It's about taking the time to really absorb what you've learnt. Wonderful. So to come out, you just bring your hands out, and then you might want to help your legs up again. We're going to just gently drop down back into semi-supine. I'm going to invite you just to take a little bridge pose as a little counter. So curling the tailbone up, lifting the hips up, maybe bringing the arms up over the head, dropping down, and then just doing whatever you want to do. So I'm going to take a little supine twist here, just doing whatever your body wants here for a moment before we then come gently down into our Shavasana. So legs out to the sides of the mat, arms down by the sides with the palms facing up, closing the eyes, lowering the gaze, chin slightly down, and just letting go into the mat. So you can stay here for as long as you like. Don't feel like you have to come out of this pose until you're ready. I'm going to move, but you don't have to. So thank you very much for joining me in this practice today. I really hope you enjoyed yourself, and if you are enjoying the videos but not coming to class and you'd like to make a donation to me, then I'm very happy to receive anything you want to give, and you can contact me by my email, which is at both the beginning and the end of the video. Namaste. Thank you very much.